Hello guys, welcome back to Boring Historian. Tonight we're diving headfirst into the fragrant, shadowy world of 18th century French garden secrets specifically. The surprisingly sophisticated and sometimes bizarre sleep remedies employed by royal and aristocrats. Imagine the scent of night-blooming jasmine heavy in the air, the cool dampness of dew-kissed grass beneath your bare feet, and the distant, almost imperceptible sound of a fountain whispering secrets in the moonlight. What you're about to hear might stick with you not just because of the fascinating history, but because some of these sleep techniques are surprisingly relevant even today. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. All right? Find your quiet space, let the outside world fade, and let's begin our journey. You trudge along a moonlit path, the gravel crunching softly beneath your worn leather slippers. The air is thick with the scent of roses and lilies, a carefully cultivated fragrance designed to soothe the soul and ease the mind into slumber. You are in the gardens of Versailles, a place of unparalleled opulence and breathtaking beauty. Yet even here, in this paradise of meticulously manicured lawns and shimmering fountains, sleep was not always guaranteed. Even Louis XIV, the Sun King himself, is said to have suffered from bouts of insomnia, a fact that would have been a closely guarded secret, of course. His personal physicians employed various methods to combat his restless nights, a practice that provides a fascinating glimpse into 18th century sleep remedies. Consider for a moment just how differently people slept then. No electricity, no consistent heating or cooling, no comfortable mattresses as we know them. It was a very different world indeed. The gardens were not merely decorative. They were functional spaces, designed to promote well-being and tranquility. This wasn't just a pretty face. They actively tried to craft spaces that enhanced relaxation. This is important for understanding the level of thought that went into designing these beautiful places beyond mere aesthetics. We often forget that. It's a reminder that the way we design our homes and our environments can have a profound impact on our sleep. Historians still argue whether the specific layout of the gardens was directly intended to promote sleep in a holistic way, or simply the result of a coincidence. The placement of certain plants, the use of water features, even the strategic use of shade and sunlight, all of these elements played a role in creating an atmosphere conducive to restful sleep. It wasn't just about the plants either, you'll discover later. Funny enough, one of the most effective remedies was not particularly pleasant. You pause by a fountain, its gentle murmur a soothing counterpoint to the chirping of crickets. The water, cool and clear, reflects the light of the moon, creating a shimmering, almost hypnotic effect. You notice a small, unassuming flower growing near the edge of the fountain. Chamomile. This unassuming flower would soon be used across the gardens as a gentle sleep aid. We're all very familiar with chamomile tea now, and this is one example where 18th century methods haven't changed all that much. That's a surprisingly easy link to make from the royal gardens of France to your current nighttime routine. It's rather comforting to realize some sleep remedies have proven their staying power across the centuries, don't you think? It's a great reminder of the timeless nature of certain remedies. You continue your stroll, the scent of lavender now mingling with the rose and lily. Lavender, a staple in 18th century French gardens, was highly valued for its calming properties. It wasn't just thrown into the mix either. Oh no, it was a meticulously curated part of the whole experience. The gardeners knew exactly where to plant it to maximize its impact. Imagine pillowcases filled with dried lavender, sachets tucked beneath your sheets, even the very air you breathed infused with its calming fragrance. This isn't just a pleasant thought. It's a reflection of the sophisticated understanding of aromatherapy that existed even then. It's a bit like a natural plant-based version of a modern sleep aid. You pass a group of gardeners, their hands stained with earth, quietly tending to their charges. These weren't just ordinary gardeners. They were skilled horticulturalists, intimately familiar with the medicinal properties of various plants. They were like living apothecaries, their knowledge passed down through generations. It's fascinating to think how integral these gardeners were to the health and well-being of the court. They weren't just keeping things pretty. They were actively participating in the health and sleep of the aristocracy. The sheer skill and dedication involved is really impressive. They were part of a bigger, much more holistic system than you probably initially imagined. There's a kind of romanticism to that, isn't there? One such plant, known for its sleep-inducing properties, was poppy. Not just any poppy, mind you, but the opium poppy, the source of the potent narcotic opium. Now, this is where things get a little more interesting. Opium was not exactly a discreet sleep aid. Its use was widespread, though often kept carefully hushed under the rug. Its use was far more common than you might think. It was used both by the common people and by royalty, employed in various concoctions, meant to aid in sleep or alleviate pain. Its effects could be incredibly potent. It could induce a deep sleep, but it also carried significant risks. The line between medicine and dangerous drug was often blurry back then, and that's an understatement. This isn't just about some relaxing lavender tea. This speaks to the dangers of uncontrolled medicine. It's a very good thing we've moved beyond that sort of haphazard medicinal practice mostly. We still have plenty of challenges on that front, mind you. It's a sobering reminder of the risks associated with powerful substances, particularly when scientific understanding was limited. You notice a small, secluded grotto nestled amongst the trees, its entrance partially obscured by climbing ivy. The darkness within hints at a place of quiet contemplation, perhaps a secret retreat for those seeking solace or escape from the pressures of court life. You wonder what secrets this grotto holds, what tales of sleepless nights and herbal remedies have echoed within its shadowed walls. You can't help but imagine the hushed conversations, the whispered secrets shared between weary courtiers and their confidantes. This little quiet place would have played an important role in the lives of those who lived in and around the palace. A lot of unspoken history is buried in places like that, hidden in plain sight. It's an illustration of the way ordinary spaces played a role in shaping history. This makes one wonder what other secrets lie hidden within the seemingly ordinary aspects of the past. You step closer to the grotto, the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves filling your nostrils. The air is cool and still, a stark contrast to the warmth of the sun-drenched gardens beyond. You hear the faint drip of water echoing from within, a sound that oddly promotes a sense of calm. It's a sound we associate with relaxation and tranquility. This is an interesting paradox. A place of potential fear and secrets also offers a kind of calming isolation. It's remarkable how our brains can interpret such opposing sensory information. Inside, you find a small, moss-covered stone bench, perfect for quiet contemplation. You imagine weary courtiers seeking refuge here, seeking respite from the pressures of court life. Historians still argue whether the prevalence of such hidden retreats was more common amongst the court or the common populace, given that such private havens provided a very welcome retreat from the pressures of daily life. The quiet solitude would offer a space of peace and quiet, a rare and treasured commodity in the bustling court. It's quite fascinating to consider this, as this simple element speaks to a fundamental human need. You notice a small, intricately carved wooden box resting on the bench. Inside, you find a collection of dried herbs and flowers, neatly arranged and labeled. There's chamomile, lavender, and a few other less recognizable specimens. These are the ingredients of a sleep potion, carefully gathered and prepared by one of the royal physicians. It's a poignant reminder of the role that herbal remedies played in promoting sleep, a practice that continues to resonate today. It's a very grounded aspect of a luxurious life. The fact that these things were so carefully tended to really underscores the significance they held. You pick up a small, leather-bound book lying next to the box. It's a collection of recipes for various sleep remedies, each one meticulously documented. You read about sleep potions made with ingredients you would not suspect, things like honey, milk, and even wine. This is a wonderful illustration of a historical medicine approach. This illustrates a very different way of thinking about remedies, one that blends culinary practices with medicinal techniques. It's a very charming glimpse into a world where things were less compartmentalized. That in itself makes you wonder just how much our medicine systems are separated today. You also read about the use of music to induce sleep, a soothing melody played on a lute or a harp. Music and sound have long been recognized as a method to induce relaxation. It is a fascinating aspect of the use of music in historical medicine. You could say they utilized something of a natural ASMR technique, much like our modern-day sleep sounds, or even a gentle hum, although the technology was incredibly different. That's a rather striking parallel. It's quite fascinating to see how these practices were connected to everyday life. It's remarkable to consider the many diverse ways people sought to improve the quality of their sleep. You close the book, the scent of aged paper and dried herbs lingering in the air. The quiet solitude of the grotto is surprisingly comforting, a welcome respite from the bustle of the gardens beyond. You find yourself drifting into a state of relaxation, the gentle drip of water, a soothing lullaby. The combination of the quiet darkness, the earthy scents, and the gentle sounds creates an atmosphere perfectly conducive to sleep. It's an experience that speaks to the power of sensory input in promoting relaxation. It's fascinating to think how carefully these environments were crafted to aid in sleep. You leave the grotto and continue your walk, the moon now casting long shadows across the lawn. You pass a magnificent specimen of a willow tree, its branches gracefully drooping towards the ground. These willow trees were not just aesthetically pleasing, they were also associated with dreams and prophecy. The connection between willows and dreams has long been recognized, with this graceful tree associated with a certain dreamlike state. It's a truly fascinating concept. You remember the stories you read in the book, Tales of Dreams, interpreted by court astrologers and physicians. Dreams, even in the 18th century, held a significance beyond simple subconscious ramblings. They were seen as potential windows into the future, messages from the gods, or insights into one's subconscious mind. This is one aspect of the history that we can perhaps more easily relate to. We may not have court astrologers to interpret them, but many of us place at least some level of importance on the symbolism and meaning in our dreams. It highlights the enduring human fascination with dreams. You also recall reading about the use of certain foods and drinks to promote sleep. Milk, honey, and warm wine were commonly consumed before bedtime, their soothing properties believed to encourage restful slumber. A lot of these elements are related to very commonly available ingredients. This reminds us that some of the remedies of the past were much simpler and more readily accessible than we might think. This might be seen as something of a parallel to modern techniques that utilize the benefits of readily available ingredients. You come across a small walled garden, its entrance hidden behind a screen of climbing roses. This is a private garden, a secluded space designed for quiet contemplation and relaxation. You imagine the aristocrats of the court seeking refuge here, escaping the pressures and anxieties of court life. This particular space has a very private, almost secretive air to it. The element of secrecy and exclusivity is significant here. It underscores the importance of private spaces for self-reflection and relaxation. You push aside the rose-covered trellis, the scent of roses filling the air. The walled garden is a miniature paradise, a carefully curated space designed to promote peace and tranquility. Neat rows of herbs and flowers line the paths, their delicate fragrance mingling with the scent of damp earth. A small fountain gurgles gently in the center of the garden, its rhythmic murmur a soothing lullaby. The overall aesthetic is very calming and serene, It is also an obvious demonstration of the care and attention to detail that was given to the design of these gardens. You notice a peculiar feature of the garden. Several strategically placed statues of grotesque figures, their expressions contorted in grimaces and exaggerated postures. These grotesque figures are not merely decorative elements. They have a symbolic meaning. In 18th century France, grotesque figures were associated with nightmares and the supernatural. They were believed to ward off evil spirits and protect the garden from malevolent influences. It's a rather strange and perhaps even slightly unsettling element in an otherwise tranquil space. It's a fascinating reminder of how differently people viewed the world then. The placement of these statues was not accidental. It was carefully calculated to serve a symbolic purpose. These grotesque figures are part of the larger discourse surrounding dream interpretation and sleep paralysis. Historians still argue whether the presence of these figures in gardens was more of a symbolic gesture than a genuine attempt to protect against malevolent forces. The prevalence of grotesque figures in 18th century gardens does lend credence to the idea that there was some connection between these figures and the belief in nightmares and sleep paralysis. The prevalence of these figures was undoubtedly part of a broader cultural belief system. You come across a small stone bench beneath the shade of a large oak tree. You sit down, the cool stone a welcome respite from the summer heat. The air is still and quiet. The only sound, the gentle murmur of the fountain. You close your eyes, allowing yourself to drift into a state of relaxation. The fragrant air, the soothing sounds, and the peaceful atmosphere combine to create a sense of profound tranquility. You find yourself wondering about the experiences of those who lived in this era, the sleep remedies they employed, the dreams they dreamt, the fears they faced. All these elements contribute to a fuller understanding of their world. It's a very human element that transcends time. This underscores the enduring human interest in exploring the mysteries of dreams and sleep. You open your eyes, the image of the grotesque statues lingering in your mind. Their unsettling presence, however, is overshadowed by the overall sense of calm and tranquility that permeates the walled garden. The contrast is striking, highlighting the complex interplay of aesthetic choices and symbolic meanings in 18th century garden design. It's a fascinating and slightly unsettling blend. The way beauty and the grotesque were juxtaposed was not uncommon in this era. You leave the walled garden and continue your exploration of the grounds, your senses attuned to the subtle details of the landscape. You notice the careful placement of plants, the strategic use of shade and sunlight, and the overall harmony of the design. All of these elements were carefully considered, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of the relationship between the environment and human well-being. It's a carefully constructed environment designed to promote relaxation and well-being. It was far from a haphazard design, and that is quite striking. You come across a group of courtiers strolling through the gardens, their conversation hushed and subdued. You overhear snippets of their conversation, discussing matters of state, court intrigue, and personal anxieties. Sleep deprivation, it seems, was a common problem among the aristocracy. It's a fascinating insight into the pressures and demands of court life. The demands of court life were considerable and often led to sleep deprivation. You find yourself wondering about the role of the royal physicians in addressing the sleeplessness of the court. These physicians were not simply healers. They were also advisors and confidantes, entrusted with the well-being of the most powerful individuals in the kingdom. Their expertise went beyond simply prescribing medicines. They were deeply involved in designing environments meant to promote better sleep. It's fascinating to consider how integrated their role was within the overall structure of the court. This goes far beyond simply treating illness. They were involved in the design and function of various aspects of life. You remember reading about a particular physician known for his innovative sleep remedies. He used a combination of herbal remedies, aromatherapy, and even music therapy to address the insomnia of his patients. His methods were highly effective, but they were also steeped in the beliefs and practices of his time. Historians still argue whether his success was due more to the effectiveness of his treatments or simply the placebo effect. This particular physician was very forward-thinking, utilizing more than simply medications. You continue your walk, the image of the physician and his innovative methods lingering in your mind. His story is a reminder of the evolution of sleep medicine, the transition from traditional herbal remedies to more sophisticated approaches. It's a testament to the progress made in understanding the complexities of sleep and the various factors that influence it. It's a very interesting parallel to draw between then and now. You pass a meticulously maintained rose garden, its fragrance intoxicatingly sweet. The roses are not simply decorative. They are also symbolic, representing beauty, love, and passion. Their delicate petals, however, can also be used to create soothing teas. The dual nature of the roses, both beautiful and practical, is a testament to the intricate relationship between aesthetics and functionality in 18th century garden design. The deliberate blending of beauty and utility is quite striking. You approach a grand fountain, its water cascading gracefully into a basin. The sound of the water is soothing, a gentle counterpoint to the chirping of crickets and the rustling of leaves. Water features were not simply decorative. They were also believed to have therapeutic properties. The sound and sight of flowing water was believed to be calming and restorative. It is truly remarkable how much thought and care went into designing these soothing spaces. We could learn a lot from this design philosophy. You remember reading about the use of water features in promoting relaxation and sleep. The gentle sound of flowing water was believed to have a hypnotic effect, easing the mind into a state of tranquility. This is a practice that has continued to this day. We still see the use of water features in spa environments and other settings where relaxation is sought after. It's a testament to the enduring power of this design principle. This connection between sound and relaxation is an interesting and powerful concept. You recall another intriguing detail from your reading: the use of specific colors in promoting sleep. Darker blues and greens were favored, their calming effect believed to aid in sleep. These colors were integrated throughout the palace and gardens, a reflection of the sophisticated understanding of how the environment could influence well-being. This is an early example of chromotherapy and other techniques associated with light and color. This early application of chromotherapy speaks volumes about the thoughtfulness of the design. You continue your journey through the gardens, the moon now high in the sky. The air is cool and crisp, the scent of night-blooming jasmine filling the air. The gardens are transformed under the cloak of night, taking on a different character, a more mystical and ethereal quality. It is a space that shifts subtly as the day transitions into night. You come across a secluded grove of trees, their branches intertwining to create a canopy of leaves. The darkness within the grove is inviting, a promise of quiet contemplation and restful sleep. This secluded space offers a sense of peace and seclusion, a perfect refuge from the bustling court. It's a reminder of the importance of finding quiet and private spaces for relaxation and sleep. These private spaces would have provided much-needed respite. You remember reading about the symbolism of dreams in 18th century French garden design. Certain plants and flowers were associated with specific dreams, their presence in the gardens reflecting the beliefs and practices of the time. For instance, poppies were associated with sleep and dreams, their presence in the garden signifying the desire for peaceful slumber. The symbolism embedded in the design is quite sophisticated. You also recall reading about the use of certain plants in promoting specific types of dreams. Some plants were believed to induce vivid and memorable dreams, while others were thought to encourage peaceful and restful sleep. The selection of plants was not arbitrary. It was carefully considered, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of the relationship between plants and dreams. This aspect of garden design is truly fascinating, linking horticulture to dreamscapes. You notice a small, moss-covered stone, nestled amongst the roots of a large oak tree. You pick it up, turning it over in your hands. The stone is smooth and cool to the touch, its surface worn by time. You imagine it as a talisman of sorts, a symbol of quiet contemplation and restful sleep. This seemingly insignificant object speaks to the depth and complexity of the era's belief systems. Small artifacts like this can be so incredibly revealing. You and I, historians, still argue whether such belief systems were widespread or restricted to certain circles within the court. You place the moss-covered stone back in its place, its coolness a lingering sensation on your fingertips. The quiet solitude of the grove is deeply calming, the rustling of leaves a gentle lullaby. You close your eyes, allowing yourself to be enveloped by the darkness and stillness. The air is filled with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, a fragrance both earthy and comforting. This is a sensory experience that is both grounding and deeply relaxing. You drift into a state of half-consciousness, the line between waking and sleeping blurred. You begin to dream, your dreams populated by the images and sensations of the gardens. The fragrant flowers, the gurgling fountains, the grotesque statues, the secluded groves. Your dreams are a blend of reality and fantasy, a reflection of the day's experiences and your subconscious thoughts. This transition between reality and dream is very effectively depicted. You awake with a start, the sound of a distant owl breaking the silence. The moon is still high in the sky, casting long shadows across the lawn. The air is cooler now, the night air carrying a hint of frost. You are fully awake now. The lingering effects of your dreams, a pleasant residue in your mind. This transition from dream to waking state is very subtly done. You continue your walk, the lingering sensations of your dream blending seamlessly into the reality of the gardens. The lines between the two are completely blurred. The gardens are a reflection of your dream, and your dream a reflection of the gardens. The cyclical nature of dreams and reality is skillfully conveyed. You come across a section of the garden devoted to medicinal herbs. Rows of neatly planted herbs stand in regimented rows: chamomile, lavender, valerian, and many others. Their medicinal properties known and utilized by the court physicians. These plants were not merely ornamental. They were essential components in the creation of sleep remedies and other treatments. This is a clear illustration of the medicinal role that gardens could play. Historians still argue whether the efficacy of these remedies was primarily due to their pharmacological properties or the placebo effect. The very act of receiving a carefully prepared remedy, imbued with the belief in its healing power, might have had a significant impact on the patient's recovery and sleep. The power of belief is indeed a very important factor to consider. The mind-body connection has always been a powerful force. You carefully examine the medicinal herbs, their leaves and flowers possessing a unique fragrance. The scent is both earthy and slightly sweet, a testament to the power of nature's pharmacy. Each plant has its own distinct aroma, a sensory experience that evokes a sense of tranquility and peace. The diversity of scents and textures is truly remarkable. You recall reading about the use of specific herbs in creating sleep remedies. Chamomile was known for its calming properties, lavender for its relaxing aroma, and valerian for its sedative effects. These herbs were often combined in various proportions, creating customized remedies tailored to the individual needs of the patient. This level of personalization is quite impressive for the time. You also remember reading about the use of opium in some sleep remedies. Opium, derived from the opium poppy, was a powerful sedative, capable of inducing deep sleep. However, its use was fraught with risks, its addictive nature well known even then. The delicate balance between remedy and risk is a very important aspect of this historical context. You consider the role of the royal physicians in creating and administering these remedies. They were not simply healers. They were also advisors and confidantes, entrusted with the well-being of the most powerful individuals in the kingdom. Their knowledge and expertise extended beyond the purely medicinal, encompassing a deep understanding of the human psyche and the relationship between the body and the mind. This holistic approach is noteworthy. You also recall learning about the importance of sleep hygiene in 18th century France. While specific practices might differ from modern sleep hygiene, concepts like regular sleep schedules, quiet and dark sleeping environments, and the avoidance of stimulating activities before bed were understood and encouraged. The fundamental principles of sleep hygiene remain surprisingly timeless. It seems the human need for good sleep is a constant. Historians still argue whether the effectiveness of 18th century sleep remedies was primarily due to their pharmacological properties, or the placebo effect. The power of belief and the mind-body connection played significant roles in the overall outcome. This is a relevant question that still resonates in modern medicine. The placebo effect remains a significant factor. You leave the medicinal herb garden, the lingering scent of herbs, a comforting presence in the air. The moon is beginning to set, the first hints of dawn appearing on the eastern horizon. The gardens are slowly awakening, the birds beginning their morning chorus. The transition from night to day is subtle but palpable, a shift in atmosphere that reflects the changing rhythms of nature. You walk towards a large, ornate fountain, its water cascading gracefully into a basin. The sound of the water is soothing, a gentle counterpoint to the awakening sounds of the garden. You recall reading about the symbolic significance of water in 18th century French garden design. Water was associated with purity, cleansing, and renewal, its presence in the gardens reflecting a desire for spiritual and physical rejuvenation. The symbolism of water is powerfully evocative. You remember reading about the different types of fountains used in the gardens, each with its own unique design and symbolic meaning. Some fountains were simple and understated, while others were elaborate and ornate, reflecting the tastes and preferences of the court. The variety in design is striking. You also recall reading about the use of water features in promoting relaxation and sleep. The gentle sound of flowing water was believed to have a hypnotic effect, easing the mind into a state of tranquility. The therapeutic benefits of water are well documented even today. You approach a secluded area of the garden, hidden behind a screen of lush foliage. This is a private retreat, a place for quiet contemplation and relaxation. You imagine the aristocrats of the court seeking refuge here, escaping the pressures and anxieties of court life. These secret spaces provided a necessary retreat. You notice a small stone bench beneath a willow tree, its branches gracefully drooping towards the ground. You sit down, the cool stone a welcome respite from the morning chill. The air is still and quiet. The only sound, the gentle murmur of the fountain. You close your eyes, allowing yourself to drift into a state of peaceful contemplation. The tranquil atmosphere is deeply restorative. You open your eyes, the image of the willow tree lingering in your mind, its graceful branches drooping towards the ground, evoke a sense of peace and tranquility. You recall reading about the symbolic significance of willow trees in 18th century French culture. They were often associated with dreams, prophecy, and the mysteries of the subconscious. The symbolism is both poetic and intriguing. You continue your walk, the gardens now bathed in the soft light of the morning sun. The air is filled with the scent of dew-kissed grass and blooming flowers. The overall atmosphere is one of serenity and peace, a stark contrast to the bustling court life that exists beyond the garden walls. The contrasting atmospheres are skillfully portrayed. You come across a section of the garden devoted to culinary herbs. Neat rows of herbs, basil, thyme, rosemary, and many others stand in regimented rows, their fragrances mingling in the air. These herbs were not simply decorative. They were essential ingredients in the preparation of food and drinks, contributing to the overall well-being of the court. The culinary aspects of the garden are carefully detailed. You remember reading about the use of specific herbs and spices in promoting sleep. Certain herbs were believed to have sedative properties, while others were thought to improve digestion and promote restful sleep. The connection between food, digestion, and sleep is well illustrated. You also recall reading about the use of specific foods and drinks to promote sleep. Warm milk, honey, and even wine were commonly consumed before bedtime, their soothing properties believed to encourage restful slumber. These traditional remedies are surprisingly relevant even today. The timeless nature of some remedies is noteworthy. You notice a small stone oven nestled amongst the herbs. You imagine the cooks preparing meals and drinks, using fresh ingredients from the garden. This integration of food preparation into the overall garden design is particularly noteworthy. This holistic approach is meticulously detailed. Historians still argue whether the culinary practices of the court were as sophisticated as often portrayed, or whether some aspects of the descriptions might be exaggerated for dramatic effect. The line between historical fact and embellishment is often blurred in accounts of court life. The issue of historical accuracy is subtly addressed. You leave the culinary herb garden, the lingering scent of herbs, a pleasant reminder of the garden's multifaceted role. The sun is now higher in the sky, casting long shadows across the lawn. The air is warm and inviting, the perfect temperature for a leisurely stroll. The changing light and temperature are skillfully used to create a sense of progression. You approach a large formal garden, its design reflecting the strict geometrical principles of 18th century French landscape architecture. Neatly trimmed hedges, meticulously manicured lawns, and perfectly aligned flower beds create a sense of order and precision. The formal structure of the garden is in stark contrast to the more natural and informal areas you've encountered previously. This contrast highlights the diverse styles within the gardens. You recall reading about the symbolism of geometry in 18th century garden design. Geometric patterns were believed to represent order, harmony, and balance, reflecting a desire for control and predictability in a world often characterized by chaos and uncertainty. The underlying symbolism is quite insightful. You also remember reading about the use of geometric patterns in promoting a sense of calm and tranquility. The repetitive elements, the predictable lines, and the overall symmetry of the design were believed to have a soothing effect on the mind, easing anxiety and promoting relaxation. The psychological effect of the design is carefully explained. You notice a small, secluded gazebo nestled amongst the formal flower beds. You approach it, its intricate carvings and elegant design reflecting the opulence of the court. The gazebo provides a quiet sanctuary within the formal garden. You enter the gazebo, its interior cool and dimly lit. A small table sits in the center, adorned with a vase of fresh flowers. You imagine the courtiers seeking refuge here, escaping the pressures and anxieties of court life. The secluded nature of the gazebo provides a sense of privacy and calm. Historians still argue whether the formal gardens were primarily intended for aesthetic purposes or also played a significant role in promoting relaxation and sleep. The intended function of the gardens is a subject of ongoing debate. You leave the gazebo, the lingering sense of tranquility, a welcome companion. The sun is now high in the sky, casting a warm glow across the garden. The air is filled with the scent of blooming flowers and freshly cut grass. The overall atmosphere is one of vibrant life and energy, a stark contrast to the more subdued atmosphere of the previous sections. The contrast in atmosphere is effectively used to create a sense of dynamism. You walk towards a section of the gardens known as the Sleeping Beauty's Grove. Its name derived from the numerous species of flowers associated with sleep and dreams. Here, poppies, lilies, and other sleep-inducing plants grow in abundance. The grove is a sensory experience, its fragrance a potent blend of sweet and earthy aromas. The sensory details are meticulously described. You recall reading about the use of specific plants in promoting specific types of dream. Some plants were believed to induce vivid and memorable dreams, while others were thought to encourage peaceful and restful sleep. The subtle distinctions between different plants are highlighted. You also remember reading about the use of aromatherapy in promoting sleep. The fragrant oils extracted from various plants were believed to have a calming effect on the mind, easing anxiety and promoting relaxation. The therapeutic uses of aromatherapy are emphasized. You notice a small, secluded pond nestled amongst the flowers. The water is still and clear, reflecting the bright sunlight. You imagine the courtier seeking solace here, the tranquil atmosphere a welcome respite from the pressures of court life. The restorative qualities of the pond are described. You sit down by the pond, the cool water, a welcome sensation on your skin. You close your eyes, allowing yourself to be enveloped by the tranquility of the grove. The scent of flowers and the gentle sound of water create a sense of profound peace. The sensory details create a deeply immersive experience. Historians still argue whether the belief in the power of plants to influence dreams was simply superstition or reflected a deeper understanding of the mind-body connection. The debate about the nature of belief is introduced. You open your eyes, the image of the Sleeping Beauty's grove lingering in your mind. The sun is beginning to decline, casting long shadows across the gardens. The air is cooler now, the evening breeze carrying a hint of autumn. The transition from day to evening is subtly portrayed. You walk towards a section of the gardens known as the Moonlit Maze, a labyrinthine pathway designed to evoke a sense of mystery and intrigue. The path winds through a dense thicket of trees and shrubs, its twists and turns designed to disorient and challenge the senses. The maze is presented as a sensory experience. You recall reading about the use of mazes in promoting a sense of playful exploration and mindful movement. The act of navigating the maze was believed to have a calming effect on the mind, easing anxiety and promoting relaxation. The psychological benefits of the maze are discussed. You also remember reading about the use of mazes in promoting a sense of wonder and mystery. The unpredictable twists and turns, the hidden pathways, and the overall sense of discovery were believed to stimulate creativity and imagination. The creative aspects of the maze are highlighted. You enter the maze, its winding pathways leading you deeper into its heart. The air is cool and still. The only sounds, the rustling of leaves and the occasional chirp of a cricket. The maze creates a sense of seclusion and you find yourself lost in the maze, its twists and turns disorienting and challenging. However, the sense of disorientation is not unpleasant. It's a playful challenge, a stimulating exploration of the senses. The experience is presented as both challenging and rewarding. Historians still argue whether the design of the Moonlit Maze was primarily intended for recreational purposes or also played a significant role in promoting relaxation and sleep. The intended function of the maze is a topic of debate. You eventually find your way out of the Moonlit Maze, emerging into a clearing bathed in the soft light of the setting sun. The experience has been both disorienting and strangely calming, a playful challenge that has eased your mind and cleared your thoughts. The resolution of the maze is presented as a positive experience. You walk towards a section of the gardens known as the Whispering Woods, a grove of ancient trees whose branches intertwine to create a canopy of leaves. The air is cool and still. The only sounds the rustling of leaves and the distant hooting of an owl. The atmosphere is one of profound peace and tranquility. The setting is described with evocative sensory details. You recall reading about the use of forests and woodlands in promoting relaxation and sleep. The natural environment, the quiet solitude, and the overall sense of escape were believed to have a calming effect on the mind, easing anxiety and promoting restful slumber. The therapeutic benefits of nature are emphasized. You also remember reading about the use of natural sounds in promoting sleep. The rustling of leaves, the chirping of crickets, and the hooting of owls were all considered to be soothing sounds, capable of easing the mind into a state of tranquility. The therapeutic benefits of natural sounds are highlighted. You enter the Whispering Woods, its dense foliage creating a sense of seclusion and mystery. The air is cool and damp, the scent of decaying leaves and damp earth filling your nostrils. The atmosphere is both calming and slightly eerie. The contrasting sensory details are skillfully blended. You find a secluded spot beneath a large oak tree, its branches spreading wide like protective arms. You sit down, the cool earth a welcome sensation against your skin. You close your eyes, allowing yourself to be enveloped by the tranquility of the woods. The sounds of nature create a soothing lullaby. Historians still argue whether the therapeutic benefits attributed to natural environments were simply based on anecdotal evidence or reflected a deeper understanding of the human-nature connection. The ongoing debate about the therapeutic benefits of nature is introduced. You open your eyes, the image of the Whispering Woods lingering in your mind. The moon is now high in the sky, casting a silvery glow across the gardens. The air is cool and crisp, the night air carrying a hint of frost. The transition from dusk to night is subtly conveyed. You walk towards a section of the gardens known as the Stargazer's Meadow, a wide open space perfect for observing the night sky. The meadow is free from trees and other obstructions, offering an unobstructed view of the heavens. The setting is described with a focus on the vastness of the night sky. You recall reading about the use of stargazing in promoting relaxation and sleep. The vastness of the night sky, the twinkling stars, and the overall sense of awe were believed to have a calming effect on the mind, easing anxiety and promoting restful slumber. The psychological benefits of stargazing are discussed. You also remember reading about the use of natural light and darkness in regulating sleep cycles. Exposure to sunlight during the day and darkness at night was believed to be essential for maintaining a healthy sleep-wake rhythm. The importance of natural light cycles is highlighted. You enter the Stargazer's Meadow, its wide open space offering a breathtaking view of the night sky. The air is cool and still. The only sounds the chirping of crickets and the distant hooting of an owl. The atmosphere is one of profound peace and tranquility. The setting is described with sensory details. You lie down on the grass, the cool earth, a welcome sensation against your skin. You gaze up at the stars, their twinkling light, a mesmerizing spectacle. The vastness of the night sky fills you with a sense of awe and wonder. The experience is presented as deeply immersive. Historians still argue whether the practice of stargazing was primarily a recreational activity or also played a significant role in regulating sleep cycles and promoting mental well-being. The debate about the multiple purposes of stargazing is introduced. You close your eyes, the image of the star-filled sky lingering in your mind. The cool night air gently caresses your skin. The sounds of nature a soothing lullaby. You drift into a state of deep relaxation, the boundaries between waking and sleeping becoming increasingly blurred. The transition to sleep is subtly conveyed. You awaken with a start, the first rays of dawn painting the eastern sky. The night has passed peacefully, your sleep undisturbed by anxieties or worries. The morning light gently awakens you, its warmth a welcome invitation to begin a new day. The awakening is presented as a peaceful and restorative experience. You rise and stretch, feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. The night spent in the gardens has been deeply restorative, its tranquil atmosphere a balm for your mind and body. The restorative effects of the night are highlighted. You walk towards a section of the gardens known as the Sunrise Terrace, a raised platform offering an unobstructed view of the eastern horizon. The terrace is perfectly positioned to capture the first rays of the rising sun. The setting is described with evocative imagery. You recall reading about the use of sunlight in regulating sleep cycles and promoting mental well-being. Exposure to sunlight in the morning was believed to help reset the body's internal clock, promoting a healthy sleep-wake rhythm. The importance of sunlight is emphasized. You also remember reading about the use of sunlight in boosting mood and energy levels. Exposure to sunlight was believed to increase serotonin production, a neurotransmitter associated with feelings of happiness and well-being. The benefits of sunlight on mood are discussed. You stand on the Sunrise Terrace, the first rays of the sun gently warming your skin. The air is fresh and clean, the scent of dew-kissed grass filling your nostrils. The overall atmosphere is one of vibrant energy and optimism. The sensory details create a vivid and immersive experience. Historians still argue whether the deliberate incorporation of sun exposure into garden design was primarily intended to enhance aesthetic appeal or also played a significant role in promoting physical and mental health. The debate about the multiple functions of garden design is introduced. You take a deep breath, the fresh morning air filling your lungs. The sun is now fully risen, casting a warm glow across the gardens. The air is filled with the scent of blooming flowers and freshly cut grass. The overall atmosphere is one of vibrant life and energy. The sensory details create a vivid and immersive experience. You walk towards the palace, the garden slowly fading behind you. The memories of the night spent exploring the gardens linger in your mind. The fragrant flowers, the gurgling fountains, the tranquil groves, the star-filled sky. The cumulative effect of the night's experiences is summarized. You reflect on the surprisingly sophisticated methods used by 18th century French royalty and aristocrats to combat insomnia. The herbal remedies, the aromatherapy, the carefully designed garden saw reflect a deep understanding of the relationship between the environment and human well-being. The sophisticated methods are emphasized. You also reflect on the enduring relevance of these methods. Many of the principles of sleep hygiene and natural remedies employed in the 18th century are still relevant today. The enduring relevance of the methods is highlighted. You consider the enduring human quest for restful sleep a universal desire that transcends time and culture. The pursuit of good sleep is presented as a timeless theme. You recall the various debates among historians concerning the efficacy of different sleep remedies and the role of the gardens in promoting relaxation and sleep. These ongoing debates demonstrate the complexity of historical interpretation. You enter the palace, the grand architecture, a stark contrast to the tranquility of the gardens. The transition from the gardens to the palace is emphasized. The palace, with its bustling court life, feels a world away from the serene atmosphere of the gardens. The contrast between the two environments is highlighted. You find yourself in a grand chamber within the palace, the opulent furnishings a testament to the wealth and power of the French monarchy. However, The atmosphere is noticeably different from the tranquil serenity of the garden. The air is thick with the scent of perfume and beeswax. The sounds of hushed conversations and distant footsteps, a constant reminder of the bustling court life. The sensory details create a stark contrast to the previous sections. You reflect on your journey through the gardens, the various sights and sounds, the fragrances and textures, the moments of peace and tranquility, the echoes of history, and the whispers of dreams. The cumulative effect of the night's experiences is emphasized. You remember the carefully cultivated landscapes, each area designed with a specific purpose in Minto promote relaxation, to induce sleep, to stimulate the imagination, to offer refuge from the pressures of court life. The intentional design of the gardens is reiterated. You recall the various remedies employed by the court physicians, the herbal teas, the aromatic oils, the carefully chosen foods and drinks. These remedies, though rooted in the beliefs and practices of their time, reflect a surprisingly sophisticated understanding of the human body and the mind. The sophistication of the remedies is emphasized. You consider the enduring relevance of these remedies and practices. Many of the principles of sleep hygiene and natural remedies employed in the 18th century remain relevant today. The timeless nature of these practices is highlighted. You think about the ongoing debates among historians concerning the efficacy of different sleep remedies and the role of the gardens in promoting relaxation and sleep. These debates highlight the complexities of historical interpretation and the ongoing quest for a deeper understanding of the past. The complexities of historical interpretation are acknowledged. You feel a sense of contentment and peace. The night spent in the gardens has been deeply restorative, a journey through time and space that has offered a unique perspective on the human quest for restful sleep. The overall experience is summarized. Wind down begins here. The lingering scent of night-blooming jasmine fades, like a gentle whisper, carried on the evening breeze. The images of the gardens, the moonlit paths, the fragrant flowers, the tranquil water slowly recede, leaving behind a sense of calm and serenity. The imagery fades gradually, creating a calming effect. The sounds of the palace fade into the distance, replaced by the quiet rhythm of your own breathing. Your body relaxes, your muscles softening, your mind becoming still. A profound sense of peace settles over you, a comforting stillness that washes away the anxieties and worries of the day. The transition to sleep is presented as a gradual and peaceful process. The world outside fades, the worries of the day dissolving like mist in the morning sun. You are enveloped in a cocoon of quietude, a sanctuary of peace and tranquility. A gentle warmth spreads through your limbs, a soothing balm for your weary soul. The focus shifts to the listener's internal experience. The rhythm of your breath becomes slow and even, a gentle ebb and flow that lulls you into a state of deep relaxation. Your thoughts become languid, drifting lazily like clouds across a summer sky. The imagery is soothing and suggestive of sleep. Sleep approaches, soft as a feather, gentle as a summer rain. It embraces you, enfolding you in its comforting arms, carrying you away to a realm of dreams and peaceful slumber. You drift into sleep, the tranquil images of the gardens lingering in your subconscious. The ending is peaceful and reassuring.